Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Stuff I Heard podcast. This is your host, Josh Peak. Today is Wednesday, the 24th of June, 2020. And I just finished dinner. I normally do these on Wednesday during the day, midweek, but I had to work today. We needed to have a guy trained and do some stuff, and I was the guy to do that. So I did it. Turn my ringer off of my phone so you guys won't be distracted by anything going off with that. Anywho, I had a wonderful dinner. It's one of those things. I don't know if everybody does it or if it's just here in the South where breakfast for dinner is fantastic once in a while. And especially when you don't have time to like take stuff out and thaw it and marinate and that kind of stuff. So tonight we had some eggs and grits and sausage. And I had two types of sausage. I had some sausage breakfast links, the little tiny narrow ones like the size of your finger that are maple flavored, I think. And then I had some sausage that my buddy Greg brought me from Albany, Georgia. They have a butcher shop down there called Salt Lick, and they make a jalapeno cheddar sausage there that is really superb. It is fantastic. Now, I used to buy some jalapeno cheddar sausage when I'd visit my wife's family down in south central Georgia in a little town called Nahunta. They have a family that lives near them that has a butcher shop called Wainwright's, and I would buy this Wainwright sausage, and it was good until it wasn't. It got to where it was a little extra salty, like whatever they're curing in the sausage was just a way too much salt. So they got to where I really wasn't looking forward to eating it. I was like, I mean, I enjoyed it for a long time, but then it was like, there's something about the seasoning they're using now. They changed something, and it just wasn't the same. But this sausage that comes from Salt Lick was really good. It's got an extra little bit of peppery kind of taste. It's not salty. Tastes great. The flavoring in it is just right. It has just the right amount of jalapeno in it that you can kind of taste the spice, but not so much that you're fanning your mouth going, you know what I mean? So anyway, I know you guys are like, oh great, we tuned in to hear him breathe. Anywho, so let's talk about what I heard. This is the Stuff I Heard podcast. Recently, I heard Donald Trump had a rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma on June 19th. Why is that a big deal? Well, there's a big deal about Tulsa, Oklahoma being the home of a massacre that happened, and that's why we recognize June 19th as a holiday, something worth recognizing. I went into the history of it. It was really awful. I'm not going to go into it right now. You guys need to do your own research. But I don't know if he did it as a big FU to the people who live there or to black people in general. I don't know what his thinking was. So he books this venue that's supposed to have like somewhere between 20 and 25,000 people. It's what I hear. I don't know if this is a fact, but this is what I hear. And apparently they only had like 6,200 people show up because there's a famous pop band from Korea called K-pop. That's from South Korea. They encouraged their fans, and they bought all the other tickets. And like as soon as they went on sale, they bought all the tickets just so the place would be empty. It's kind of a neat move. If you feel passionately about something like that and you want to throw your money at it, it's kind of a move to make. I mean, holy cow. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's hearsay. Again, I'm just telling you what I heard. This is the Stuff I Heard podcast. So you can say, you know what I heard this idiot say? Man, he ain't right. He said all that stuff wrong. That's fine. I'll take that. It's okay. We all make mistakes. But anywho, so Donald goes on stage, the president, goes on stage and says, the problem with our testing of this coronavirus is that we're showing high results. We just need to stop testing as much, and then our results will go down. I was like, what? What did you just say? That's sort of like saying, if you put your head in the dirt, then everything is dark, and then you don't have to worry about the sunshine. What? Now, I'm an optimist, and I like to think that people don't really mean some of the things they say, and maybe he meant to say something else. Oh, but no, he goes on later and then reiterates, yeah, I mean, if we tested less, there'd be a lot less cases. I mean, you don't have to look at them. And I was like, oh, you're just going to keep throwing dirt on your own problem. That's awesome. Good job there, buddy. What an idiot. What? I can't believe this guy is running our country. I mean, and listen, I'm partially to be at fault here. I've voted for the guy. I voted for the guy again. You guys know, because I didn't want Hillary. I didn't want that crook to be in politics anymore, even though she still is. But I definitely am tired. I'm tired of him. I really am. I'm sick and tired of him. At no point has he done anything that he should do in handling any of this process. It just it makes me crazy. It really makes me crazy. I mean, I don't buy into, left-wing media claiming all these crazy, things about, Trump's doing this and Trump's doing that. And I'm like, there's a truth between all of the stuff that you hear. There's, the right side, the left side, and the middle. And the truth is somewhere in the middle. Isn't that what they always say? Your version, my version, and the truth is in the middle. Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. Now, with that being said, Biden is not helping himself at all. I mean, I just heard him on TV the other day. He was like, "Listen, y'all should just vote for me because I am black people. I know what it's like to be black." And I was like, "Oh, just shut up, dude. Seriously, shut up." I was listening to a podcast today. I guess I skimmed over listening to a bunch of The Fighter and the Kids, and there's one from like May 5th where apparently some lady had come out and said that Biden had sexually assaulted her, and Alyssa Milano is supposed to be like his champion celebrity. And she was like, I guess during the Me Too movement, she was the one saying, believe all women. And now she's like, well, I mean, we should wait until like there's due diligence and review the case. Because why? Because he's on your team? Because he's the guy you decided would be your buddy? You just said believe all women. And apparently there's like records of this woman's mom going on Larry King and talking about what happened when it happened. She didn't name him, but she said, my daughter works for a very powerful politician, and she was sexually assaulted, and she likes the guy, so she didn't want to come forward to get him in trouble. But this happened, and Larry King back in '93, when this interview happened, was like, so she feels like she can't say anything because he's a big, powerful politician, and something had happened to her. And not only that, but she wants to promote the guy's politics and him. And he's like, I get it. I totally get it. It makes me rethink about all the stuff that happened with Monica Lewinsky, where she came out in the public and said what happened. I mean, during that time, I mean, she had to know that awful things might happen to her if she said anything. And I don't think it was her choice, but I think it was really interesting that she came out. I mean, I don't want to use the word brave, but maybe it was brave. I mean, especially once you see what the Clintons have done to people since then. I mean, Jesus, it's terrifying. But anywho, I'm not a fan of Trump or Biden right now. I really wish there was a third option. I mean, come on. There's got to be somebody out there that's decent that wants to run this country. I mean, and again, I'll say it again. It doesn't matter who's in charge. We're going to end up doing all the work. We are. It's up to us to do the legwork, to come up with solutions, and to bypass whatever crap it is that whoever's in charge says. And let's face it, he's not really in charge. Not really. I mean, it's kind of like having a crazy stepdad who's on drugs and saying really awful things to the waitress, and you're like, oh, Jesus, Not that I know what that's like or anything. I'm just saying that kind of vaguely. If anybody resembles those comments, it's just a coincidence, I swear. But, hey, it is what it is. So with that going on, and with all this politics going on, there is a show on Netflix called The Politician. Season 2 came out recently, and I just finished watching season 2. Each episode is about 30 minutes long. I say about because some are less and some are more. Season 1, it has a young man who, from what my wife tells me, that he was in the High School Musical show. I didn't watch the show. He does sing in it for one episode, and got a great singing voice, really amazing singing voice. But the show, the first episode or the first season, spoiler alert if you hadn't seen it, he's running for student body president because he eventually wants to be president of the United States. He's got high aspirations of being the leader of our country. And he aligns himself with a lot of people who also want to either help him run or to run against him. And he ends up somehow either defeating them or aligning with them in some way, whether it's through coercion or convincing. or going along with their plan in some way. He's the politician. He manipulates the situation so that people fall in line with him, and it's a small scale. I mean, granted, this guy's in his, I don't know, 20s or so, but he's supposed to be in high school, and he convinces all these people to kind of go along with him. You learn along the way that politics happens, and the show is very interesting. The dynamics of it is very, very polarizing and very um, parallel to a lot of the things that are happening in society today. There is, gay and lesbian relationships. There is a character that is a girl that wants to become a guy and says, "Call me James from now on." There's a lot of this stuff that goes on that's facing our kids today in their own social circles, and they sort of address that more in season 2. They talk more about the fact of, he's running for a state Senate seat in New York, and he's running against, I forget her name. It's the lady from Who's the Boss that played the mom. Still looks hot. She was hot back in the 80s. She's still hot. I don't know. She seemed to not age at all, or she aged better. But she's in it, and there's a point where she makes a comment. She goes, "I realize that I am trying to run politics from what I know, and it's not the challenges that our kids are facing today. You need someone who's on the cutting edge of what you guys are facing and gets you passionate about it." And she's like, she kind of makes a point at some point in the show that this guy is making a lot of the right decisions, and sort of a, not of the cap kind of deal of, "Hey, my politics are old. I did a lot for what I was up against, but I don't know that I can face today's challenges because I don't know that I know all of the lingo. I don't know I know all the angles, and you do." And it sort of reminds me that, Robin Williams once said, politicians need to be changed like dirty diapers, often for the same reason. So, there's something to that. Um, I passed by a town recently, and I saw a sign in someone's yard. It says "Vote for so and so," and it had another guy's name on the other sign, and it said 28 years is enough. And I was like, "Whoa!" Just calling dude out, like, "Listen, enough is enough. You're not doing it. You're not getting the job done. It's time for new blood." And I fully agree with that. Um, I don't agree that politicians should be getting their, severance stipend forever. I don't agree that ex-presidents should be guarded forever. I mean, granted, you don't want anything bad to happen to them, but also that's a huge expense that the company that the country just kind of foots the bill on. I mean, I would think if you're going to serve your country, it's out of an obligation or a sense of you know diligence and honor, and it is my responsibility to serve my people kind of deal. But it's not. It's about power grabbing and money grabbing, and how can I get in the right pockets with the right people, and how can I make deals for my family so that they don't have to work anymore? How do I figure out how I don't have to work anymore? I mean, granted, that's the kind of thing that all of us would eventually like to do in theory, but in reality, the happiest people I meet are the ones who work hard every day and bust their tail and have a sense of accomplishment. When they get home, they're exhausted. Those are the happiest people that I meet. I work with them all the time. They may come to work and they may be grumpy in the morning, but as they're working through their day, they're happy. Little things make them happy. I heard it said one time that poor people don't commit suicide, it's the rich people. Poor people have a sense of purpose. They have a battle. They're trying to climb uphill. Rich people are at the top of the hill. They're always wondering, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Maybe there's something to be said about struggling. Makes you wonder. I don't know. We've seen a lot of things change this past year. 2020 has been a very rough year. There's been a lot of social discourse. There's been a lot of social awareness. Change has to happen, and sometimes for change to happen, bad things have to happen, and they've happened. And hopefully they're catching the eye of people. But there's still reports of people being killed. I mean, I just saw a 14-year-old boy was killed the same kind of way George Floyd was. And I'm like, why? 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 Where? What? We have the news on every possible source we have, on our phones, on our smartwatches, on our TVs, on our computers, all of our social media. If you're part of the problem and you're continuing to perpetuate the problem, what are you hoping to achieve? Where is your thought process? Tim Scott, I'm proud of Tim Scott. Tim Scott is a representative from South Carolina who is trying to pass the Justice Act to have police reform, to have reform based on policemen's performance, on their behaviors. If they show a pattern of being very reckless and dangerous, then the people should know. There's all sorts of reforms on there. He drafted the bill himself. He championed the bill. He tried to pass it. It got to the Democrats in the House and they all voted no. He posted the thing online. You can look at it on Twitter. You can look at it on any social media. Just look up Tim Scott, representative South Carolina. You can find it on Google. The entire bill is up there. You can read it. The Democrats voted no. Why? Because the policemen's union votes Democrat. Because they're going to check the blue box no matter what. I'm going to check the blue box. What? Really? This is the thing I've learned in my lifetime. If you're a union, you vote blue. If you're a business owner, you vote red. If you're on Social Security or Medicare, you vote blue. Why? Why? Why blue? Why red? Why? What is wrong with people that they can't seem to get out of their own ways to help other people? What's it going to take? I'm entertained by the show The Politician on Netflix. Both seasons were great. Season 2 was great. There is a interesting character in it. Gwyneth Paltrow plays the main character's mom, and she's, of course, smoking hot in this as well. And her character is very appealing, and it's not a usual role for her. It's pretty cool, pretty chill role. I mean, I liked it. Bette Midler's in season 2. Great role. Really interesting character. There was a moment where the main guy, I forget his name, he's singing and playing piano. And I'm looking at Bette Midler watching him play and sing, and I'm thinking, didn't she win an Oscar for singing for like that movie Beaches or something like that? The Rose? I don't know. Listen, this is stuff I heard, not stuff I know. If you want stuff I know, that's a different channel. I have been listening to a ton of podcasts. I did a deep dive on Time Suck. I listened to him do one on, what was it? The Brothers Grimm. And then I researched a lot of the stuff he talked about on the Brothers Grimm. Pretty fascinating. Without the Brothers Grimm stories, it was basically just a collection of Germanic stories told in native people's tongues. And their effort was to preserve the language, not necessarily to preserve the stories, but the stories became part of their way of making a living. It's also the reason we have Disney. A lot of the stories that Disney have written have come from there. A lot of the ideas that have been morphed into other stories come from there. It's amazing. It's really amazing, all of the tales that have spawned off of these ancient, passed along word of mouth stories. Really fascinating. So thank you, Brothers Grimm. Without you, there would be no Disney. Sorry, I keep coughing. Again, I have some sausage phlegm in my throat. I know you're like, oh, great. Thanks for passing that along. That's awesome. But yeah, there is a show called Dark that's getting ready to come out. If it's not out today, let's see. Today is the 24th. Maybe it's out today. Ooh, that would be something. I forgot to check my Twitter feed to see if Dark is available yet. Let's do the search, shall we? I bet it's coming up. DARK. Netflix. The 27th. Oh, I gotta wait. What is the 27th? Is that Saturday? Today's Wednesday, the 24th. Yeah, Saturday. I gotta wait till Saturday? Oh, man. Dadgummit. Well, the trailer's online, so you can watch the trailer. There's also several seasons, 1 and 2, up right now that you can watch on Netflix. It's really fantastic. A lot of people tell me it's better to watch it in German and then read the subtitles. I've told you guys that before. It's really, really cool. Very cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited. um. So anyway, we have a thing planned for this weekend. We have some friends coming over, and the girls are going to do a podcast. I started looking, and we haven't had a Stuff She Said podcast since April or May. I think it's April. I was like, "Hey, girls, what's up? You're kind of due for a podcast." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we do need to do one." So anyway, Saturday, I'm going to have them over here. We're going to do like a special dinner, and then they're going to do a podcast. So look forward to that. I'm going to take the day off because sometimes I just talk enough. I almost didn't do this one. I was eating dinner and I was looking at my watch and I was like, oh, I gotta do it. But hey, a commitment is a commitment. I told you guys I was going to do twice a week, and I'm still doing twice a week, at least twice a week. So thank you, and you're welcome, and thank you. Did I say that right? You're welcome. I don't know. Something like that. There's a lot of Joe Rogans that I need to listen to that I haven't listened to. There's a big scandal right now with Chris D'Elia. I saw that in the news. He's apparently in trouble for sexual misconduct with underage girls. I'm not sure what misconduct means. I don't know if that means he was soliciting something from them or if he actually did something with them. I don't know. All I know is I saw on my Twitter feed that he was in trouble, and then I saw something from Whitney Cummings, who is a co-star of his on the show Whitney. They were actually really good friends. She posted on there that what he did was deplorable, and you got to read it. It's all over the internet. So I don't know. I hope nothing bad happened to any of these girls, but if they do, then I hope he gets what's coming to him. I mean, just that simple. I get the fact that you're a celebrity, and I get the fact that you want to date younger girls, but there's a limit where younger is illegal, and I think he crossed it. I'm not certain, but I think he crossed it. Bert Kreischer is on tour. I don't know if anybody out there is interested in seeing Bert Kreischer, but check his bertbertbert.com for tour dates when he's going to be near you. He is not only doing club dates, going around and touring the country, but he's also doing this drive-in movie comedy show. Now, tonight he's going to be in Charlotte, and I couldn't go because it's a Wednesday night. I mean, who can go on a Wednesday night? I mean, unless you live there and you can be like, oh, I can take off Friday. Well, for me, it's like a 2-hour drive to get there and a 2-hour drive to get home. The home part is the hard part. How do I get home after the show? But he's doing this show in a tour bus. He's traveling around to these drive-in movie theaters, and he's going to be on the stage, and then they're going to put this thing up behind him with him on it, and you can tune into your FM station. You can tailgate and party, along with him. And it sounds really fun if somebody else was driving me sober, or if I could have AC going because it's hot out there and possibly rainy. I mean, I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm interested to see how it happens. Tonight is the first night he's on it. I think he's calling it the Hot Summer Nights or Summer Nights Tour or something like that. I don't know what it's called. I think Hot Summer Nights is like a rated R movie with boobies and stuff like that from the 80s. Anyway, allegedly. Not that I watched it or anything. It was a long time ago. So anyway, thank you guys for, obviously tuning in. I am going to cut this short because I am just tired. I've worked 38 hours in 3 days, and today was only an 8-hour day. So, yeah. That's how my brain is working right now. So, with that being said, thank you to everybody listening. Thank you to everybody who's been subscribing. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you want to be on the podcast, let me know. This is a conversation. We are building community, and I'll keep doing it. I'll keep doing it forever. Don't threaten me with a good time. Hope everybody's staying safe in this coronavirus thing. I know certain cities have started to institute a policy that you have to wear a mask or you're going to get a $25 ticket. If you've had to do that, let me know. I'm interested to see where that's happening. I think in our state we have to do it in Columbia and Greensville, but I'm not sure. That's what I've heard from people today, just talking amongst people. I couldn't find anything online about the state of South Carolina, what's going on, but if it's happening where you're at, let me know. I'm kind of curious. All right. And that's it. Y'all take care, stay safe, and as always, cute cow.
To give me more likes. Give me more